Fortuna fight versus the Diaz. That was a good fight. I'm going to talk about that. As well as we're going to talk about the Ramirez fight and the Barrera fight. Now, Ramirez versus Barrera was the main event, light heavyweight. Sullivan Barrera. And the thing that really did in Sullivan Barrera within 4 rounds was body shot by Ramirez. Beautiful left counter body to the liver. So the catch and shoot, almost something like what Tank did to Mario Barrios. Catch and shoot. So Barrera was throwing a punch, and I believe Ramirez blocked it and then went to the body with a beautiful left. And me as a southpaw seeing that, it just was well executed, beautiful stuff. Good body work by Ramirez, also working the head and the body throughout that fight. Barrera, nice right hand steals every now and then. But for the most part, Sullivan Barrera really wasn't in the fight. It was really more Ramirez dictating the fight, walking down Ramirez, circling him. And he got his man. I mean, he got him. He dropped him, I think, was in the 3rd round, and then he dropped him again in the 4th with another body shot, another liver shot. I think he got up and he started fighting again, and I think he caught him with something. I can't remember. I think it was a liver shot, something. But he would put him down 3 times. Can't emphasize body, 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 body. We've seen body shots put guys down. We've seen body shots drain fighters. I don't care how good a fighter is. You go to his body, you're going to pay off. But remember something. In going to the body, you risk getting hit up top and countered to the head. So it's an art to getting body shots in. You have to be off the center line when you throw a body shot. But the thing about it is, you could also get hit. You could also be countered to the body. So what we've seen in a number of fights now is guys who religiously go to the body, but they're getting countered to the body as well. With Mario Barrios, excellent body puncher, and he got countered to the body. Just to mention again, Uncle Robert. Uncle Robert was trying to say that Mario Barrios, he couldn't go to his right. Talking about how his trailing foot was too far back. Again, that's wrong. And it's sad because, this guy knows technically how to keep staying balanced and so on, but that's wrong what he said, though. When you're circling clockwise, when you're circling your opponent's weak side, when you're circling, especially if your opponent, of course, if your opponent's a southpaw, that is. So we're talking orthodox to southpaw. The important thing is when you're pivoting that you are pivoting at an angle where you are basically moving away from your opponent. Even though you're turning, you're moving away from your opponent. I can demonstrate it so you see. So his trailing foot initially would be seemingly behind his lead, but that's only because he's pivoting. All right, he's pivoting. So if I have to pivot, I'm pivoting off the front foot, and I'm pivoting this way. Obviously, this foot will look in a certain plane. It'll look like it's way behind. That's just that I'm pivoting. That's all. It's really that simple. And what I want to show Uncle Robert, because he doesn't quite understand. Let's say I'm pivoting here. So this is me here. My opponent is here. We're turning clockwise. So we're turning this way. Okay? Hopefully this camera picks this up, because this camera is very bad. What I was trying to explain to Uncle Robert is if I pivot this way and I come into this stance and my opponent pivots with me, all right, and instead of pivoting, I stay right here and shoot the right hand, okay, straight down the center, I'm going to catch my opponent because he's pivoting into me. But I would have to step in to land the right hand, and I can either step out when I come back, or I can step in, and then if I want to, I can pivot this way. Or if I want to, I can continue pivoting the way I was pivoting, but I would step back a bit. Okay? Or I could lead the right, step in, and come right up into my opponent's space. I can close the distance and come into my opponent's space. So there are different things you can do. But no, his trailing foot was not in an inappropriate place because he's pivoting, he's circling a certain way. Again, this is boxing. This is not about your opinion. Okay? This is not about your opinion. What I'm talking to you about is technique and skill. And Uncle Robert, he should know this because that's what he teaches. Okay? So it's not, there's no opinion in this one. It's not opinion whether his trailing foot is behind his, it's going to be because he's pivoting a certain direction. Okay? So that's not something for debate. You know, this is why I try to be, people try to say, oh, you know, everything is debatable and everything's opinion. No, fuck, you're talking bullshit. This is a sport. It has rules. It's not debatable if you rabbit punch somebody, that's a rabbit punch or not. Whether the referee calls it or not, you hit somebody behind the head, it's called a rabbit punch. That's a fact. There are certain skills that you have in boxing. You can circle your opponent to their lead hand or you can circle them to their weak side. Those are facts. There's no other way to circle your opponent. So these are things that you have to be able to understand the difference between an opinion and a fact in boxing. And most of boxing, the sport of boxing, not talking about boxing, the sport itself is based on facts. Okay? So let's separate people's opinions of things and what they think it should be from what actually happens in boxing. Notice I demonstrated it because it's very easy to demonstrate. It's a simple thing to understand. Right? And yes, there are all kinds of nuances in boxing that I don't talk about, right? And I don't break down because I try to keep it as simple as possible for fans. And I love Uncle Robert because he breaks down certain techniques. I actually learned from him a couple things technique-wise, how to implement certain things that I think is really good. And that's not his opinion about the technique. That technique actually works. It's a factual statement. Some of the things he's saying and he's demonstrating to you is not opinion. It's factual because he's demonstrating it and showing you what he's doing. Okay? So, I say all of these things not to say that there's a hard and fast way to approach things in boxing, but what I'm saying is there is a factual foundation under which boxing, there's schools of thought and the schools of bearing and how things are done in boxing, and they work because they're not just opinionated things, they're things that work, which makes them factual. When something works, okay, a technique or a skill, it's not an opinion, it's a fact that it works, right? So I just wanted to make that difference because some people feel, oh, you're so opinionated, if the person doesn't agree with your opinion. Motherfucker, it's a fact. If I'm talking about a fact and you don't agree with the fact, then you're wrong. When there's something factual, you have to stay with facts. When you're talking about an opinion, that's totally different. And I can say your opinion, I don't agree with your opinion because of X, Y, Z. And usually I'm mentioning facts, motherfucker. I'm not mentioning opinions at that time. To support the opinion. And you can come with another series of facts, and that's where we get arguments. That's boxing talk. That's separate from actual boxing. Right? Separate from actual boxing. Actual boxing, ain't nobody, oh, I think you should approach it this way. An opinion. No, bro. When you're training, there's a specific way to train. There are different schools of thought of how to train, but and what is useful for training, but at the end of the day, everybody does the same sort of things. And everybody fundamentally tries learns certain skills, like throwing a jab. Okay, there's no opinion. Yeah, I guess you could say to some degree, some people have different opinions of how to throw a jab. They may teach you slightly different ways, but ultimately, in the end, most people teach you, or all people teach you basically the same way to throw a jab. All right? The ones who do it effectively, how to effectively throw a jab. It's not, again, it's not based on opinion. There is a way to effectively throw a jab, period. Point blank, period. And that's why it's a school of thought. And that's why some people get their ass beat when they throw a jab, and other people don't. So, no, boxing is not, boxing talk might be opinionated, because everybody's got an opinion. But the actual, what boxers, the top tier boxers learn and what they do and how they implement it is the same across the board. And that's because it's not based on opinion. It's based on proof, evidence, facts that these things work. You see, um, boxing records. We can have opinions about the boxing records, but the boxing records themselves are factual information. Not going to change, right? The judges' decisions are final. The knockouts are final. Those are factual information. A boxer's accomplishment in boxing, what is there, what has been done, is factual. Now we can have our opinions on, the conditions behind it, and the health of the boxers that they face, the time in the boxer's life when they face them. Those are opinions, okay? And not really necessarily opinions, because the times and the health of the boxers and the conditions, those are factual information, but we could form opinions based on that, right? So there's factual information, which is there, that this is what happened. That's factual. Then we can interpret what happened. Oh, I think it's because of this condition and that condition. The conditions themselves are facts, but our opinion about it, what we think about them, is something different. So I just want to make that abundantly clear and separate people's opinions from factual information, right? You guys may have your opinions about, what happened last night with my boy Jojo Diaz versus Javier Fortuna. You may have opinions about it, and maybe you agree with my opinion on it that I'm about to give you. But the fact is that Jojo Diaz fought Javier Fortuna, and Jojo Diaz beat Javier Fortuna on the record. That's what it is. And the margin is pretty wide by the judges' scorecards. I think one judge had it 115, 112. I think everybody else had it like 117, 110 or something like that. 117, 111. Another one had it 116, 111 or something like that. So we're going to talk about this, and you guys should be able to separate when I'm saying something that's factual from something that I'm saying that is my opinion. Okay? If I'm telling you about the events and how they transpired and what Jojo Diaz did very well, then that's factual information I'm giving. You have to verify if my account of the facts is correct. That's an opinion. But if I decide to express my opinion, you'll hear me say, this is my opinion, not facts. You'll hear me say something like that. This is my opinion on this. So you need to understand that. What you see in the ring, happening in the ring, Coach Anthony describing what's happening in the ring, Coach Eric Bradley describing what's happening in the ring. When they're describing what's happening in the ring and they're telling you what is the constitution of that, meaning Coach Eric Bradley particularly, he talks about, for example, generational wealth of knowledge on boxing and how this has been applied to certain boxers. And he may call back certain things from Sugar Ray Robinson. He may call back things from the great Julio Cesar Chavez or Pancho Villa, for example. And which is a great Filipinian boxer. Again, Manny Pacquiao, Pancho Villa. And talking about legacy. When he starts talking about these things, it's not his opinion necessarily he's talking about. He's identified specific things that he sees that reflect themselves through the boxers, and he describes what he's saying. Now, part of it can be construed as opinion, but it's not really. It's really him observing certain data and expressing that data. And that's different to expressing an opinion of something. You see? If I go out there and I say, for example, Lomachenko is an untouchable matrix in boxing. That's my opinion. It may be backed on facts or it may not be backed on facts. All right, somebody can come up to me and say, "Well, Salido touched him up pretty good." Um, to me, Luke Campbell busted up his face. I mean, when I look at what's his name, the Venezuelan guy, I keep on forgetting his name for some reason. He dropped him, so he's not as untouchable as you say. You know, I mean, he's you would be correct, but for the majority of his career, nobody really be landing a lot of punches on him. Okay, okay, so there's been, you know, of recent times, Luke Campbell. You had Luke Campbell. You had uh, uh, for some reason I can't remember Jorge Linares. That's the name I was looking for. Um, Jose Pedraza. Those guys touched him up pretty good. Um, Tio hit him a couple times, stunned him a couple times, especially in the 12th, but not a whole lot. The point is Lomachenko untouchable? No, that's an opinion. It's based on what you think. Is it a right opinion or wrong opinion? It's based on what you think. I think it's a wrong opinion, right? He is touchable. But having said that, he has been untouchable in a lot of fights. The guys haven't really landed anything much significant on him for a lot of fights. So you can say that Lomachenko, let's say an accurate way of saying that I think would be for most of Lomachenko's short pro career, he hasn't been touched much by a lot of boxers. He's been touched up a bit in recent times, but for most of his career, he hasn't been touched by most boxers, that's some formidable ones. You'll be absolutely correct with that statement. So, it's just how you may couch a statement, thinking about, reflecting on, all of the facts that support a statement, that makes a statement a very good opinion. And not just opinion, but a correct opinion. And not just a correct opinion, but a fact-based, fact-driven opinion. And that's something that a lot of people do not understand. And I try to speak as accurately as I can about something. I don't just try to open my mouth and say rubbish or feelings. I'm not that kind of person. I try to speak in a sort of analytical way, break down what I'm thinking about, look at all the factors, and speak. And you will see that with certain boxers, Keith Thurman and a lot of other guys. They know exactly what they're saying, and they're putting it in the right context of what they're saying. And when they say things a certain way, you have to agree with them. You know, but certain people, sometimes like Max Kellerman's of the world, or what's that guy from the Zone? I forgot his name. Christopher Christopher Mathis. What is it? Christopher something, right? He's reckless with his language. He doesn't really pay attention to what he's really saying, and sometimes Sergio Mora has to correct him because, again, you have to be able to understand what boxing is. And some guys have been around boxing a long time, but they don't know what the fuck they really are watching. They don't really understand. Chris Maddox, that's the guy. He's, there was another guy who just didn't know shit about boxing. What's his name? I haven't seen him in a while. That's the guy I used to go to and fro with Floyd and Bernard Hopkins. Didn't know what the fuck he was watching. And, Jim Lampley always gave us that impression too. But Jim Lampley knew more about boxing than he let on. He just, I guess he was a hype man for bloodthirsty guys. I don't know. But yeah, when you hear people who's supposed to know what boxing is say bullshit, it's either they're deliberately misinforming us and trying to make a case and spin the argument, or it is that they really don't know what they're saying. I prefer to say that most of the times these people are deliberately misinforming us. Guys like Max Kellerman, who knows boxing quite a lot, is deliberately misinforming us. That's what I feel. I think he's intellectually dishonest. Even to this day, people talk about Floyd being a great businessman. I'm going to bring back Floyd Mayweather always as usual because I always believe that they are lying about him. And they say a lot of inaccurate information about him. Don't worry, we're getting into Jojo Diaz versus Javier Fortuna in a second. And my major point and why I bring up Floyd so much, and I should, because he's that good, and I should. It doesn't have to be popular. I don't have to have a popularity contest to bring up this dude, and I will always bring him up. Is because they say Floyd is a shrewd businessman, and he ran his career like a business. But this motherfucker fought people. This motherfucker fought people. He fought the very best, right? So if he's running it like a business, like everybody's saying he ran it like a business, which, of course, he was a good businessman. But here's the other thing that people are not talking about, because Michael Jordan was a great businessman. Fuck it. Muhammad Ali was a good businessman. Fuck it. Sugar Ray Robinson was a businessman. He owned stuff in Harlem and stuff. Okay? Sugar Ray Leonard, for a period of time, he had his own promotional company. Fucking Oscar De La Hoya is a businessman. What are you guys saying? Um, um, uh, Mike Tyson's his whole life's on business. His whole career is based on business and attraction and the product he's selling. And he's become his own boss now. Okay? A lot of these guys are good businessmen. So what were you really saying? What separates Floyd from the others? It's not that he's a good businessman. That's cool. Boxing is a business, right? Whatever. That wasn't it. That boxing's always been a business. So I don't know what the fan. Just that more managers and promoters used to exploit fighters, and Floyd and actually there's a lot of fighters through the history of boxing that tried to take their careers and manage their careers. Okay, so you had Sugar Ray Robinson. He still got conned by his manager, but Sugar Ray Robinson really tried to take control of his affairs and his business. Of course, some things went south. Some of his investments went south. So he really, it hurt him a lot, because he was really invested in Harlem and building up Harlem. People don't know Sugar Ray Robinson was a phenomenal businessman. He was doing some great things, and then stuff happened, and he lost a lot of money. Um, but George Foreman's a great businessman. You know, I mean, there are a lot of great businessmen out there. Okay, so to tell me that Floyd Mayweather, he was just a great businessman and that's what he brought to boxing. No, 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 no. This motherfucker fought everybody. He fought everybody, and some of the people he had to really pursue. He had to pursue Pacquiao to get that Pacquiao fight. Okay, he tried his best to get a Pacquiao fight. Pacquiao fucked him over. And will go to the media and say, oh yeah, I really want that fight, but really that motherfucker was playing exactly what Barrera is doing right now. You look at Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. All of a sudden, Tyson Fury's camp has COVID-19. You look at Teofimo Lopez versus Carambosis. All of a sudden, Teofimo Lopez has COVID-19. And I'm just saying, this is how fucking Bob Arum does his stuff. He's dirty like that. He and his people. Right? Pacquiao had a shoulder injury. All right? Motherfucking, how many people have we seen all of a sudden their fights are disbanded? And the fighters aren't distressed about that. The fighters aren't. I think of Keith Thurman with his shoulder, and he suddenly just disappeared out of boxing for a good period, and he's back for Pacquiao fight. You know what I mean? I'm just saying this. I'm not saying that fighters don't have injuries, but you can tell something with shady promoters. And what I realized about Bob Arum, he's a fucking shady promoter. And he lies a lot. And he has his fighters lie. And he protects his fighters. Terrence Crawford. Now they're talking about Crawford versus Josh Taylor. So we're going to bring Josh Taylor up from 140, right? And feed him to Terrence Crawford. That's how Bob Arum wants to do it. And they're both southpaws. Josh Taylor is very capable, very able. I think Terrence is in a different league, but then again, Josh is a guy that will, he will trash it out with you, and he'll fight in the pocket with you. So, I mean, Josh Taylor, he's a good opponent. But my thing is, Arum's willing to sacrifice Josh Taylor instead of have the Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford fight. He's willing to take his future star, Josh Taylor, and throw him to Terrence Crawford, who got a lot more experience than him. Okay? Probably going to be the bigger guy than him. Okay? In that fight. He's willing to do that to Josh Taylor and chain him up and say you're gonna be great and blah 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 blah. He's willing to do that to Josh Taylor instead of feed Terrence Crawford to Sean Porter. He don't want to do no Sean Porter. Oh yeah, $1 million to Sean Porter. He don't want to do that. Terrence Crawford could get Sean Porter, Dennis Ugas, Danny Garcia. All these guys are sitting on the shelf. Uh, Lipinus just got beat up by who was it? Who beat up Lipinus? Jerome Ennis. All right, you got Jerome Ennis in the equation. Then you've got I think Victor. I think not Victor Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz. I think he's a top ranked fighter. Why wouldn't Terrence Crawford at least get Virgil Ortiz? Virgil Ortiz asking for him. Why not Virgil Ortiz? See, I'm just saying. You're gonna take a 140 pounder, right? Of course, Josh Taylor would want Terrence Crawford, but I'm just showing you guys how this dude think, okay? And feed him to Terrence Crawford. I'm gonna tell you, that ain't right. To me, that's wrong. The man's still a 140 pounder. The man might want to defend his belts at 140. We have to see. But instead, you want to give him to Terrence Crawford in October. I just think it's wrong. But he wants to keep fights in-house, right? Everybody's talking about, Mayweather and PBC and all that, but Aaron be doing this all the time. And for people in boxing who know boxing, know this. I just want to make it abundantly clear because I don't know how much this video is working well. That what I just said there is an opinion. It's not facts. Okay, so some of the stuff I'm saying is opinions, my opinion on the situation with Arum and Tyson Fury. I'm not saying that those are the facts of the situation. The facts of the situation, as reported in the news, is that the Fury versus Wilder was stopped because I guess people in Fury's camp got COVID, so they had to shut down the camp. Same thing with Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez got COVID, so him and Carabos was off. Those are factual information. That's what's out there. My opinion on the facts is what I'm just relaying to you guys. Okay? But anyway, back to what I was saying. So we are looking now at Jojo Diaz versus Javier Fortuna. And let's talk about it. I did not talk about a prediction for the fight, but if I were to predict the fight, I would have thought that Jojo Diaz would have taken this fight because he thought he could win. And so I would have favored Jojo Diaz over Javier Fortuna. Fortuna obviously is known for good infighting skills. He can fight on the outside, and like Joel Casamiro, he's rough and rugged on the inside. So he may rabbit punch you, butch you, you know, punch you, low blows. But he also can use a stick on the outside and box you on the outside. Now, these were two southpaws that fought each other. And the key to this fight, the same thing I've been saying over and over again, already talking about Ramirez versus Barrera. In this fight, the key was body punching. And boy, did Jojo Diaz dig to the body. Those lefts to the body, those uppercuts, left uppercuts to the body, those right hooks to the spleen area. Brilliant stuff. Was it spleen? Right hooks to the liver. Right hooks to the liver area. Yeah. He would, oh, wait. Yeah. So, left hooks to the spleen, right hooks to the liver area. Man, this brother, he be just tearing up into Javier Fortuna. Fortuna was trying to impose his size and strength throughout the fight, and on the inside and be rough and rugged. And Jojo wasn't having it. When he rabbit punched Jojo rabbit punched him back. And JoJo was just landing some nasty body shots. So people were saying, Javier just chose to box on the outside. No, he felt them body shots and he backed the hell off and he tried to jab on the outside. And what I really like about what JoJo did was he would throw that jab to the body and then he would slide to the inside. He was looking, picking the spots, trying to get past the jab of Fortuna. And once he slipped the jab and he stepped in, he's coming with some. He comes with some heat. Again, more body punching. The only thing I wanted to say to JoJo is JoJo need to press a guy to the corner, get him up against the ropes, and wail on him. I like how JoJo imposed his size and his strength, even though he's not, even though he might be heavier, he's not the guy that's most acclimatized to lightweight. This was his debut against a tough and rugged opponent, and he did exceptionally well, flying colors. I love this guy, how his inside fighting is just so great. And the thing about JoJo was JoJo really started off as a mid-range fighter, outside boxer, and he's really developed his craft in the inside fighting. And this guy, I remember he should have won a bunch of fights. I remember Frankie Sanchez. He should have beaten him. He should have beaten a number of fighters, okay, because he really is a really good fighter. Even with Gary Russell Jr., Gary Russell Jr. got that win, but I think it was a split decision win. Again, it could have gone either way. And now he's really come into his own. I know he has some other, mental problems outside of the ring. This guy, though, is a genius when it comes to fighting. This guy, you watch the old school trainers that train him. This guy, I knew he was gonna beat him, Fortuna. But I mean, JoJo Diaz really put on a hell of a performance. I was very, very, very impressed with him. Of course, he can box off the back foot. He's an expert boxer, and we seen him beat Tevin Farmer. That was not no joke. I mean, he really beat Tevin Farmer up. And this boy, man, this boy can do it all. I mean, JoJo is, and he's got so much experience. Even the fights he lost, which were really close fights, he's got a lot of experience. He's a problem. Now, let me say this, and he'd take on anybody. He fights anybody. And he knew fighting Javier Fortuna, which everybody was ducking, that, this guy would give him a name, and he really did. So he's in line to face either Ryan Garcia or Tank. He's calling out them two guys. He called out Tank or Ryan Garcia. Now, a Tank fight, that's a hell of a fight. That's a hell of a fight. JoJo is a problem. And I would love to see Tank fight JoJo. However, I don't think that's going to be the fight that JoJo's going to get. He's Golden Boy. So, who's in Golden Boy? Ryan Garcia. Ryan's a long fighter, got good power on his extension. I think JoJo defuses that. I think JoJo is too much for Ryan right now. I'm going to be real with you guys. JoJo's a problem for Ryan. Ryan's now coming into his own. He's now facing, he's now facing good stuff. JoJo ain't no fucking joke, y'all. Like JoJo, I told y'all, I actually did a video on this before. You guys watching this video, don't forget to smash the like button. I told y'all in a couple videos before that this was one of the neglected boxers out there, that people not really paying attention to him. He really should have been a superstar a long time ago. He should have got his just due. He should have won certain fights that he lost by split decision. It is what it is with his career. And I know that kind of messed with his mind a little bit. And but this guy, I mean, the things he knows and the way how he approaches the sport, the way how he moves in that ring, his ring savvy, his intelligence, and the game plans that they put together. And his trainer, of course, is an really old school vintage trainer, right? That no boxing, really no fucking boxing. And I'm just saying, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, he's a problem. All right, ain't nobody stopping JoJo. Okay, Fortuna got stopped by Jason Sosa of all people. But Fortuna's got lots of skill as well. I would love to see Fortuna. He actually performed very well. He was very active. Wasn't landing much shots, but when he did go to the body, when he tried to impose his size and strength, he pushed JoJo back. But the thing that stopped him was the counter punching by JoJo. See, you try to push JoJo back, he's going to counter punch you. But he's also very aggressive. He will walk you down. So JoJo's a problem. I'm telling y'all right now, this guy's a problem for anybody at lightweight. because he's now a lightweight. Definitely showed that he was a lightweight. He's a problem for anybody at lightweight. I would love to see Tank face him though. That would be a dream fight for me because I tell you, man, JoJo is underrated. And on the inside, I know he gonna tax up. He's going. Tank gonna have to roll a lot of shots and ride a lot of shots. And Tank's a sniper just like JoJo. JoJo's not really a combinational puncher, even though he can throw combinations and really blitz you out of there, or really like he threw some combinations against. I mean, Javier Fortuna was just the perfect style to exhibit everything that JoJo has. Because Javier Fortuna, he's an all-round fighter as well, right? He can box you on the outside, he can box you on the inside, and JoJo can do the same thing. I mean, people talk about old school fights. You want to see an old school fight with the new school kind of attitude and just the new school. How do I say? There's a lot going on in that fight. There was a lot going on with that fight with JoJo. Um, Right Eye says if Ryan has as much skill as you say, he should keep the fight nice and long. But Ryan is too raw at this time. Uh, it ain't his time yet. Well, first of all, Ryan has the skills to deal with JoJo, but that's not the point. JoJo got them skills too. That's the difference. Like JoJo been under the radar for a long time. Okay, JoJo being under the radar. I watched JoJo from the beginning of his career, Olympian, right? Beginning of his career to now, and he has so developed into the confidence that he has now. It's not that Ryan don't have the skills to deal with JoJo. That's not the issue. Okay, he has the skills to deal with JoJo. If JoJo make a move, Ryan can have an answer for it. The problem with that is JoJo got so much experience and he's so nuanced. I don't think Ryan will be able to figure out that answer in time to deal with JoJo. And there's no way, like you had just said, I think he's a little too raw for JoJo. I think he's not ready for JoJo. A guy like Tank, I think Tank's ready for JoJo. You know what I mean? Tank, and it's not that Ryan hasn't seen guys like JoJo that could do it all and hasn't faced them and hasn't beaten some of them in the amateurs. It's just that it's a different level. You know what I mean? It's a different level in the pros. And it's just a different level in the pros. And what JoJo, like, in the amateurs, you remember you're dealing with mostly a point system, and you're dealing with also guys that cannot hit you certain places because of headgear and all of that. And so it's just different. JoJo, you can see how physically strong he is. And this is a guy that was a 130 pounder coming up to 135. I'm really amazed. I was very impressed with him. Extremely impressed with him and this performance. Um, this guy, man, JoJo Diaz, man, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. It's his attitude to the sport of boxing that's very important. His IQ is very good. His attitude to the sport, sometimes he's up, sometimes he's down. He always gives you a very well fought fight. But this fight, he separated himself from rounds 10, 11, and 12, the championship rounds. He really sucked it up and just stepped on the gas and really did his thing. And notice, even though he got cut in the fight, it was by headbutts, right? It was headbutts that really caused the thing. And he kind of slammed into Fortuna's head. Fortuna always had his head down. But ultimately, in the end, you saw how he fought through the cut easy, easy. He wasn't even bothered by the cut, and just the way how he fought that fight was just so fucking clinical. Like, even when he goes in for the clinch because he got hurt by Fortuna, even when he gets hurt, because Fortuna really, when Fortuna lands a body shot, the shit's different, right? Different weight class. But how he clinched him up and walked him to the ropes, pushed him on the ropes, and still with the free hands, just working the body and working the body. I thought it was just brilliant. Like, I can't tell you guys how much I'm impressed with JoJo Diaz and what he's become. And I guess beating Tevin Farmer, Tevin Farmer is an excellent fighter. I can't say enough about Tevin Farmer. The fact that he beat Tevin Farmer so well and comprehensively just shows you what kind of fighter he is. And man, I can't wait to see him against like a Tank. I think he gives Teofimo Lopez a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Teofimo Lopez going backwards and infighting. Lopez is very sharp and everything, but infighting, that's gonna be a problem. Teofimo Lopez, especially when he starts to walk Teofimo Lopez down. I think that's a totally different fight right there. Let me think about who else. Devin Haney, him versus Devin Haney. Actually, Devin Haney could be. It's not Tank. Sorry, my bad. It's Devin Haney. He's actually the interim champion right now. So Devin Haney's the champion. He's the interim. So it's either going to be he's in line to get Devin Haney or he's in line to get Ryan. I would love to see him versus Devin Haney. I would love to see that. Devin Haney, he tries to keep the stick. He tries to keep the range. He tries to keep the distance. He's very sharp. You know, he's strong. And this dude knows how to handle a stick. He knows how to handle a guy who's shooting the stick. He knows what to do, and he knows he has to go to the body. So I would love to see a fight like that. I mean, JoJo Diaz versus Devin Haney would be a fucking phenomenal fight as well. You know, I'm just saying, the F bomb. When I use F bombs right now, it's not in any evil way. Let me see what you guys are saying there. Live chat. Gotta wait for the live chat to come up. Everything's kind of delayed. My phone is crappy when it comes to this. When it comes to streaming, I have one of the worst phones in the world. I hit live chat again, nothing is going. So I really want to see your comments, bro, but I can't even see your comments right now. Like, you see how slow my phone is working right now. Everything's just really slow. I'm gonna try one more time. It's not working. Oh, there you go. Right Eye One says Diaz started at 126, but 135 he looked strong. He didn't look fleshy at all. He looked solid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He did look solid. Don't forget to smash the like button if you're watching this. Don't forget to smash the like button. Show me some love. Um, yeah, I mean Diaz. Yeah, he started at featherweight, right? Moved up. He fought Gary Russell Jr. at featherweight, as we all know. Then he moved up to super featherweight. Or did he move up to super featherweight? I don't know. I think he had one super featherweight fight or something like that. I can't remember. And then he moved up to lightweight just recently there. Um, so that's significant. I think he's a very, very, very good fighter that just never got his just due. And you know, people looked over him and started looking at guys like Frankie Sanchez and the other Golden Boy fighters, but he's really been consistent. He always give you a good fight. He always give you entertainment. And I'm looking forward to seeing him. I just hope that he can stay stable outside of boxing. Once he's outside, or stay in the gym a lot, you know, be home, try to take care of his family, try to be a good person at home, and you know, go to the gym and just work, just put in that work where he can, so he don't get himself in trouble outside of boxing. He's been in some trouble recent times. So those are the two weekend fights that I wanted to talk about. Um, don't get me wrong. Fortuna had some moments in the fight where he pushed Diaz back, hit him some good shots, and Diaz just closed up. And what Fortuna realized was Diaz would keep that shell defense. You know, he would just shell up like this. You know, the two arm, two guard, and while Fortuna just be pounding away at elbows and hands and stuff like that, and then he would counterpunch him, right? And he caught him with a couple right hooks in the exchanges and stuff, and it showed that Fortuna, he's a much bigger guy, much stronger guy than Diaz is at present. But Diaz, using that attack, the body attack, it really made a big difference. He was really putting everything into it, just ripping those body punches, and he had to because you know he's moving up in weight, so he's not too short. But he said he sparred 160 pounders and he's fighting 160 pounders, and he's training, so he was ready for a guy like Fortuna. He was ready. He has preparation going for him. All right, man. So that's basically what I got. This other surrounding news you guys want to talk about, you can talk about it, which has to do with we don't know if Canelo is going to be able to sign up with Caleb Plant. What we do know is this: that we heard David Benavidez offered to go down to 160 to face Jamal Charlo. Me personally, I don't think that's a good idea. Again, that's just my opinion, because David Benavidez struggles to make weight. even at 168. He's a huge guy. He should really be fighting at 175, right? So I don't think that's a good idea at all. I think that's something you're just throwing everything into Charlo's court. He should come up to 168 to face you. And this is what I wanted to say about Jamal Charlo. Let me just, I'm gonna come back. And again, these are just my opinions. Boxing, baby. Yeah, David Benavidez. I'm just gonna be eating something while I'm doing this. David Benavidez, man. David Benavidez is a big dude, man. David Benavidez is a big dude. I just don't think it makes sense to um, I don't think it makes sense to go down in weight to face Jamal Charlo. Winner gets Canelo. It sounds good. Sounds good, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Because you're you're talking about somebody who probably gets into the boxing ring at 180 something, 190 something, right? Maybe not so much. Maybe 180 something, right? On fight night. And you're talking about getting all the way down to 160, which he's never done before. Dehydrating all the way down there to rehydrate back up to 180 something. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think that makes sense. I think that weakens him for the fight against Charlo. And David Benavidez is a guy, he has good defense, but he doesn't have great defense. He gets hit. He gets hit. So I don't think that's a good idea at all. But it would be nice to see him get his shot at Canelo before, Canelo leaves 168 and goes up to 175. So I'd love to see Benavidez versus Canelo. I'd love to see Benavidez versus Charlo, but Charlo need to come up in weight. Let me just say this. I don't really have anything against Charlo as a 160 pounder not facing David Benavidez because he's at 160. What I don't understand is him carrying out this bitch move where he's saying, I would knock out David Benavidez. Right? That's what he said. So David Benavidez is like, he's at 168. He's like, what did I just hear? Just like Andrew Ward with Gennady Golovkin. He's like, what did I just hear? Did you just say you could knock me out? Okay, come on, man. Come up to 168. Let's do it. And then just starts making excuses. That's where I think it's a bitch move. And I think that's a duck, pretty much. But, I mean, Charlo can continue the rest of his career if he wants to at 160. That's on him. You know what I mean? Whatever he wants to do, his aspirations, it's okay to stay at 160. But my thing is, my opinion again, these are all just opinions. My opinion is that if you're going to stay at 160, and keep your ass at 160. Don't be talking about nobody at 168 if you don't want to face him. If he was just talking. You know what I mean? I mean, he's free to say whatever he wants to say. But then people are going to start not taking you seriously. Why do you even mention a guy at 168 if you're not going to go face him? You know? So, that's all I'm saying. Maybe he'll face him down the road. So he's setting it up. and that's probably why it's tripping right now. But I just think it's kind of clout chasing to do that if you're not gonna face the guy, right? So I don't think David Benavidez need to go down to 160. I think that's a dumb idea. That's my opinion. It's just my opinion. He might do it, and he might succeed, and he might actually beat Charlo. I just don't see it. His advantage is he's big, he's strong, and at 168 he's big and strong. You know that's a huge advantage. Why would you sacrifice some of your strength, and your weight for a guy just because you really want to make a fight with them to prove that you're serious? I just don't think that's a good idea. Either Benavidez is talking, probably mentioned it when somebody asked him, or he might be serious, and in which case I don't think that's a good idea. I just don't think, not for him. But I'd love to see those two guys face each other. What I would suggest is Charlo probably face somebody like Danny Jacobs. But I hear he's not even interested in facing Danny. Danny got skills. Y'all don't understand. Danny Jacobs got skills. I did not think that what's his name? Gabe Rosado beat Danny Jacobs. I don't know how people are saying that. Yeah, Danny didn't perform. He didn't stop Gabe Rosado. That's what you guys was looking for. And Gabe Rosado's a pretty good fighter, as we all see now. It's just that Danny outboxed him. Gabe hardly landed anything on Danny Jacobs. It wasn't as exciting a performance as you see from Danny Jacobs usually, but he was rolling a lot of shots, coming back with shots. I mean, it was good. And Gabe somehow thinks he beat Danny Jacobs. I don't understand that logic. I don't know what he's talking about. You need to go watch the fight. But yeah, I mean, and Danny Jacobs landed the harder punches as well on Gabe. So that's what I basically got. This is what you need in building. I think there's other stuff to talk about. Um, there's next week we got Jamel Charlo versus Brian Castano. That's a good fight. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Castano's no joke. That's a guy that actually, in my opinion, again my opinion, beat Erislandy Lara. Okay, but they gave Lara a draw. I think so. And the other guy who I thought beat Erislandy Lara was Carlos Molina. So I know Brian Castano can fight and he can box, and I know he is elusive. And I think he's going to give Jamel Charlo a hell of a fight. Now, whether it might end up being in the judge's score, in the judge's hands, and as a result of that, I don't know exactly how that fight will pan out. But that's a 50-50 fight for me. And Jamel can box. I know that. But he's going to have a hard time keeping Brian Castano off. You know, and he's gonna learn that real quick. Brian Castano, he's no joke. He's no joke, and he brings volume, and he brings defense. So Charles doing his homework. Let's see if he can surprise me, because I just don't see this fight going any other way than straight to the scorecards, or I don't know. We have to find out who wins. That's going to be a hell of a unification fight. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be action packed. And we'll see what they come up with. Charlo and Derek James. Daniel and his people come up with it in that fight. That's a very good fight. Very good fight. So I'm definitely looking forward to that next weekend. We're talking boxing, man. They talking about what next opponent for Tank. I don't want to see Tank versus Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero is not ready for Tank. These are the fights I would like to see with Tank. Regis Prograis versus Tank. Um, I think Mikey Garcia may be facing Regis Prograis, so that's a good fight. Hell of a fight. So Nair's no longer facing Casimiro, but we're hearing talks that Casimiro might face Rigondeaux. That's a really good fight as well. You know, Pacquiao's looking super good, but like I said, the key to this fight is the pivot. That's Errol's big advantage. You don't know how to pivot, you can't deal with Pacquiao. But you know how to pivot, you can deal with Pacquiao. I think Errol's going to win this fight. But being that I'm an old dog, I want to see Pacquiao do well. And if he wins, I'll be elated. Don't get me wrong, I like Errol a lot. You know he's working hard, taking this fight seriously. I wish him nothing but the best. But as you guys all know, Pacquiao always got a little trick up his sleeve somewhere. And he's gotten to every single fighter. How the fighters react is a really big question. And we know, without a doubt, Pacquiao will get to Errol at some point in that fight. And how Errol reacts to that will tell us everything we need to know. So I'm looking forward to that fight. And that fight isn't very far away. It's this month. So fireworks in boxing. You know, after seeing this COVID stunt that was pulled by Fury, I don't know, man. Wilder may have a better chance than I thought to beat Fury. Because the same kind of punk ass shit that I saw Billy Joe Saunders doing, I seem to be seeing Fury do it now. And this is typical of Fury. Fury didn't want this fight. Try to get another fight going. We watch and see. I don't know. It's just my opinion. It may not be right. Maybe Fury really did. The team getting COVID, so they put it off. I don't know. He doesn't have COVID apparently. He got one vaccine, or whatever. Time will tell. This is what you need in the building. You guys have a good week, a good day. I gotta drop these stuff down. Talk about these fights. Some upcoming fights. And that's it. Um, Oscar De La Hoya is thinking of having a comeback fight. So a little later on this year, I think he's gonna be doing something. Definitely in shape. Saw him. He's in shape. That's good. Jake Paul versus I forgot what his name is. I've been watching both of them. Um, we'll see how it all pans out. I'm actually interested in that fight because the guy Jake Paul's about to face, he's old as hell, but he actually can throw hands, so we'll see. Looking forward to seeing what Canelo does, man. Looking forward to seeing what Canelo does. I recently heard Blue Blood Sports TV talking about how he's not going to criticize Canelo anymore because he's fighting very often. I'm going to criticize Canelo if he's facing subpar competition. But you ain't going to tell me Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders are subpar competition, and Caleb Plant now. That's not subpar competition. How do we know this? If any of those guys was to up and face David Benavidez, Carlo Andrade, they wouldn't be subpar competition. They'd be competitive fights. So they're not subpar competition. And having seen Canelo versus Sergey Kovalev, you can also say Kovalev wasn't subpar competition. Because you have to name me one 160 pounder who jump up to that weight class and face Sergey Kovalev. None of y'all can say which one. So Canelo has been facing good competition. One guy was what was that? He was a Mexican dude he faced. First day busy fight. Now Canelo's going in for undisputed. I don't care what nobody say. Caleb Plant ain't no. It's not a walkover. I hope they get that fight made, and I hope that Canelo I hope he's able to face Caleb Plant and push for his unification. Push for the unification. I think if he's going to do anything with the zone, it looks like he's going up in weight. So I think B-ball is with the zone. So he might be able to get a B-ball fight. BWF, I think, is the top rank. So I don't know if he'll be able to make that fight happen. Maybe BWF can get freed of his top rank contract. Maybe so. But I would love to see Canelo go up against Andre. I don't know how possible that will be, how soon. Andre's getting older. And Andre's probably the only guy in the equation who probably get left out. I think Canelo's interested in Charlo. He's interested in a fight with Plant. I don't know if he'll face David Benavidez. It depends on who wins. If let's say David Benavidez goes up against Charlo. See what these younger fighters, I keep on saying it over and over. These younger fighters, man, y'all need to face each other. Especially you established champion and everything. Now you need to face each other. Charlo ain't facing Andre, and he's not facing Benavidez. Benavidez is in your company, PBC. Why aren't you facing him? What is your if you can't get Andre, you're not gonna get Triple G. Go up in weight and look for a challenge up there. He's campaigning at 160, and I could tell this ninja has no plans of going up to 168. He's not going to do that, right? And I don't know, man. I don't know. His brother's like, I'm going to clean up shop, right? His brother's been cleaning up shop. But him, I don't get that feeling like he's interested in any fight with any of these cats, whether it's at 160, he'll take the Triple G fight, obviously. He'll take the Triple G fight. But he's not interested in facing Andre. You know what I mean? You know, he talked about he's interested in a Canelo fight. But I don't even know if he's interested in facing Canelo right now. I don't know where this guy's brain is at. Because if you're really hungry for a fight, and you realize there's nobody in your weight class that wants to face you, what do? You go up the other weight class. You know what I mean? Oh, my dude, right eye. Man, hey, dude, we got to do a live. Because you talking plenty, man. I would love to actually chop it up with you, bro. No adversarial. I'm not an adversarial guy, so you don't even have to worry about that. You the guest on my program. And we just chop it up. Benavidez would never be able to drop down to 160. I agree. I agree with you there, brother. Just make no damn sense. Benavidez should fight Ramirez at 75. That's a good fight, but that's top rank though. I don't know if he. The problem with this thing is, no, wait. No, Ramirez is now with DAZN. Isn't Ramirez? I think top rank. I think Barrera released Ramirez. I think he's with Golden Boy now, right? Maybe it could happen. That's a good fight though. It's a good ass fight. I'd love to see that. Charlo should fight Andre or Golovkin. He ain't gonna ever get a Golovkin fight, man. Right now, you know that. Ain't nobody gonna get the Golovkin fight. Not Andre, not Charlo. Golovkin's not facing those guys. And he's 50. He's 39 years old. Let's be reasonable, okay? He's 39 years old. He's the old dude. He's not gonna do like Pacquiao and try and take on a young buck. He's not gonna do that. You saw him get pieced together. He got pieced up. How many times did he have to get pieced up before he realized he's not the same guy that he used to be? And I'm not a great Golovkin fan, but I'm going to defend the fighter. I'm going to defend the boxer. He needs longevity in his career. He took a lot of punishment in his last couple of fights. He's been taking a lot of punishment. So I wouldn't, I sometimes you gotta look out for the fighter, man. And in this case, Golovkin's not going to take none of them young lions, experienced young lions. He's not going to do it unless it's Canelo, because there's money in that. But these guys don't. I mean, and think about this. Golovkin came off of a when he fought Canelo. Those two fights, right? That's over 2 million pay-per-views. He did, right? To go down to facing Derevyanchenko as a free fight on the zone and almost get his ass beat. And I thought Derevyanchenko beat him again. My opinion. I thought Derevyanchenko beat him, but almost get his ass beat. Right? He got beat. He literally got beat up. He was beat up really bad. Like he's been getting beatings worse and worse. So it was Danny Jacobs who beat him up. Then it was Canelo beat him up twice. Well, actually, yes, beat him up twice. Even though Canelo was smaller than him the first time, Canelo was landing like 4-punch, 5-punch combinations on this dude. When Canelo went on the offensive, he was throwing combinations, right? In fact, he hit him with a hard combination in round 10, and Golovkin kind of buckled, right? That was the first fight. I'm not even talking about the second. Second, he was beating him up like he was a bitch. Just walking his ass down, beating him up, right? He didn't knock him out, but he beat him up really bad. So that he took punishment. So that was 3 back-to-back fights, right? Jacobs beat him up, Canelo beat him up, and I don't mean beat him up in the sense of knock him out or win the fight, just taking punishment, right? He took punishment for 3 fights, in a row. Got a break, fought this dude who was supposedly undefeated. I don't know where they found him from. He's from my country, actually, from Trinidad, originally. And I think he did his thing in Canada. I forgot what the guy's name is. Anyway, he knocked out that dude. But that dude even touched him up a little bit, right? And then after that, he goes on to face Derevyanchenko, and he takes the worst beating he's taken in a very long time. Derevyanchenko beat him up really, really bad, right? He bit down and he fought to the end, and he got the decision, which I thought Derevyanchenko should have gotten. But again, he knocked down Derevyanchenko early in the fight. Maybe judges were influenced by that, and I tipped it in the favor because I never really quite understood. I think after round 5, Derevyanchenko took over that fight, and Golovkin in moments was coming back and being strong, but the majority of the rounds Derevyanchenko was just beating the shit out of Golovkin, man. There was a point where Golovkin bowed over from a body shot, and Derevyanchenko was brutal with the body shots. Don't get me wrong, the fight also took something out of Derevyanchenko, but I'm talking about the punishment Golovkin had to take. That's the 4th fight he took punishment, right? Basically 5 fights in a row he took punishment. Yeah, he knocked out the guy, I think it was Steve something. I forgot what his name is. But then this fight, his comeback fight, this dude who is a nobody again, I'm no disrespect to the guy, but nobody in the sense of nobody really knew who he was. I looked him up, I did my homework, and it was like, he do everything Golovkin do, just worse, right? So he went in there, and he was touching up Golovkin for a moment. And I was like, this ain't good. This is not good. This dude is fortunate to have a world title right now. So me personally, I think Golovkin should just maybe face his mandatories and ride out into the sunset if he can't get the Canelo fight, which he's not going to get because Canelo's never going down to 160 and Golovkin's never moving up to 168. That's not happening. So he's not in the equation. He's kind of just a belt holder holding a belt, and I just wish he would give up the belt. Just give up the belt. Give up the belt. Fight whoever you want to fight. Get your promotional company going. You have fighters under your banner, and just promote guys. And you had a hell of a career, and that's it. You know what I mean? I think Golovkin needs to understand that, dude, it's over. Like, it's over. You ain't gonna get any better. And these young lions, they're looking at you like you's food. They're ready to eat you. They're like, yeah, I want the Golovkin fight. All of them want the Golovkin fight now, right? You go back 5-6 years back, they weren't so eager to have a Golovkin fight, right? So I'm just saying. So I don't think Golovkin's on the cards. Uncle Robert Boxer. Whoa. Hey, we got a lot of people up in here. Radar 1. This is cool. Uh, it's good to see you guys talking, man. We need to all meet up in a chat. I probably my feed might suck, but you guys might be a better feed. We all need to meet up in a chat and talk. You guys, we got a lot of experience in here, a lot of boxing experience in here. A lot of people also who have a lot of boxing knowledge. We can just chop up on boxing. You know, I'm not really an adversarial person. I will tell you if you're wrong. Don't feel a how about it. It's not when I'm talking. I just like to know that people got the facts of things right. So I really, it really peeves me when people not really speaking factually and they're saying this is a fact, or they're saying, well, I'm entitled to my opinion. And I was like, that's not an opinion though. That's something that's a factual. That's all I'm saying. Right? I'm a very reasonable person. We're all reasonable people, I'm sure, up in here. And I don't really care. I just love the sport, as you know. But I also do the sport. I actually do actually box, right? I actually throw punches. I actually train. So it's a little bit annoying when people say certain things and you're watching them like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? That's not boxing. What the fuck are you talking? It really annoys me. I understand a lot of boxers feel the same way, and I've had to be humble and eat humble pie talking to boxers, certain boxers, and they just was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? That's not how boxing is." You know. So I mean, and you just stand corrected. You say, "Oh, I didn't know. I was just talking." Talking boxing and doing boxing is two different things, bro. I'm just saying to people right now. But yeah, you gotta be humble in boxing. You really gotta be humble to learn. You know, I don't know shit about boxing like that. I'll tell y'all for real. Like I'm still learning the game. I do want to finish. Hopefully, if the COVID drops down, I'm gonna actually do something this year. I'm actually gonna be in a professional fight. Diaz, yeah. Let me see what you guys saying here. But Charlo versus Andrade, I would love to see that, but I don't know, man. Charlo don't look like like Radar said. Charlo don't want no smoke yet. Everybody's saying Canelo's avoiding him. It's laughable, for real, bro. Even his own brother's like, I ain't that Charlo. Like he's disclaiming his brother. he's disclaiming. He's disclaiming his own brother. It's pretty funny. Uh, Ramirez is with Golden Boy. Great, 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 great. That's good. That's good. I feel for Golovkin. He was avoided in his heyday. I mean, I feel good for him because I don't feel bad for him because he actually made a name for himself. He could have been in obscurity for a very long time. Some guys never get the credit they deserve at all, you know, and he was able to make a name for himself. Up to this day, we always talk about drama show. You know what I'm saying? You know, Golovkin, they had their own niche. They had their own entertaining way of doing things. You know, I mean, he didn't fight the best of the best of the best. You know, some guys did avoid him, no doubt about it. But, I mean, you know, he made it entertaining. And boxing as a sport is about entertainment. As much as I don't like Golovkin because people overhype him a lot, I don't personally hate him. I like him as a person. It's just that I think that people overhype him, and not in okay. That's what I mean. Because it's okay to overhype somebody as well, and to be excited about them. I used to overhype Golovkin actually, but the problem is when you start putting down other boxers and trashing other boxers to put him up. I think that's wrong. Especially when you're talking about boxers who have accomplished a lot more than him. And on top of that, you're not really breaking it down scientifically or anything. You're not really using facts. You're just going on your feelings. I hate that. I hate when people, you know, try to fuck up other people and put up their fighter because that's a lot. And I think a lot of you guys mistake me for those kinds of people. You really think I'm on a lot of people think, the black community think I'm a Canelo lover and everything Canelo does is good. Other communities think that call people like me Flomos for some reason. They think I'm all on Floyd and he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I never said that. All right. Some people think that I'm very biased towards black fighters. I'm not biased towards black fighters. If you could fucking fight, you could fucking fight. I'm gonna tell you as it is, right? If you could fucking fight, it just so happens that in the sport there are a lot of black and Latino fighters. That's what they do, and that's just what they do. There's not a lot of Caucasian fighters. There's Eastern European fighters, right? Some of them are Caucasian, some of them are not, right? We all know this. So it's not. I've never really. I just love the sport, okay, and that's all it is. I mean, I don't know why people, but I try to tell the truth, and I try to come from factual information. I try to tell people like it is. You don't have to agree with me, but I try to tell people like it is, and I try to bring as much facts into the equation as possible, so that when I'm speaking to you, at least you know, hey man, this is what, and you can't bullshit me because I do box, okay? Red Eye One says, "What do you think, Canelo? Do you think Canelo won the first Golovkin fight? Fuck yeah, he definitely outboxed him. He outboxed him. I'm gonna tell you why. It's very simple. Golovkin was using what we call a probing jab. So sometimes he even interchanges, shift, and uses probing right hand. Right? It's a small little tap. A probing jab. In the case of Golovkin, he's a seek and destroy kind of guy. A probing jab is to find where your opponent is in space. You're timing him, and he has a beautiful probing jab, by the way. He again he throws it at a time when you don't expect it, and I've seen him use it a number of different times with a number of different opponents. Against Danny Jacobs, again, he's got a really good jab. He's got really good jabbing hand. He knows how to probe, and then he knows how to mix up his speed, his tempo, his pace, everything with his jab. Reminds me of Vladimir Klitschko. He reminds me also of most of them are European fighters, but they really know their jab, man. They know how to use the jab. Klitschko was a master at the jab. Gotta love Klitschko. His hand had a life of his own. Um, this guy, what's his name? 140 pounder. He beat Lucas Matisse, knocked him out. He also beat Henry Hank Lundy. He also beat Hank Lundy, knocked him out. Uh, Victor Postol. Victor Postol has a hell of a jab. Hell of a jab. Victor Postol is no joke. He's really good. Unfortunately for him, against Ramirez and against who was it? I can't remember who it was. Just Taylor, was it? I can't remember. Came up short because he's a little bit predictable. Like after a while, when you see his look, you get used to his look and what he does, right? And then when you really pressure him, yeah, he kind of crumbles. But he has a decent jab as well. So Golovkin, he has a really good jab, and he uses different ways. So he has a probing jab, he has a power jab, right? Um, I think that's about it. Is it? I think he has a probing and a power jab. He mixes the jab up and down. For those people who don't know, in boxing, your jab is like a serpent's tongue, right? It helps you to locate where you are, where your opponent is, what a jab is about. That's one of the things it does. And so Golovkin is using those touch jabs to find out how far away he is from Canelo, and he's trying to find his target at the same time. Where is Canelo in space? What Golovkin did that was wrong, and he never actually changed it, but I understand why, is Golovkin kept on jabbing Canelo's forehead. So he would touch Canelo's forehead. And that does not give where Canelo really is in space. Okay? So what CompuBox was counting as jabs were these touch jabs that he was touching Canelo's forehead with, which Canelo was baiting him in with. And for the entire fucking night, with that entire fight, Canelo successfully baited in Golovkin into touching his forehead to think that's where he is in space when Canelo's leaning forward. He's leaning forward. That's not where he is in space. So this is Canelo. I'm going to exaggerate, right? He's leaning forward here, all the way out here, past his lead foot, and he's out here. And he's in the peekaboo, and he's opening up the peekaboo to let Golovkin touch my head. Whoop. Obviously, it's a trap. Okay? It's called a trap set. He's doing that to encourage Golovkin to offload his power shot so he can counter him. He'll just rock back and counter. So if I'm here, this is not where I am. I am not out here. I am way back over here. I'm here. Where my body is. That's where I really am. So if I snap back, I'm completely out the screen. Now imagine this. I do so, snap back, and then counterpunch you with an uppercut. While you are leaning in trying to find me. You're reaching to find me. I make you reach, and then I teach. You reach, I teach. That was happening all night long. And Canelo had the speed advantage on Golovkin. Golovkin had decent timing, but his placement was terrible. So, whenever Canelo wanted to, he would come under staccato beats, 3-4 punch combinations. Bah, 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 bah. Then he'd step away, keep on circling him. That's the first fight, in a nutshell. Right? Round 9, Golovkin took it way up. Canelo was trying to rest in that round. And he took round 9 comprehensively. That was a Golovkin round. Round 10, Canelo started fighting back. 11, Canelo took that one. And 12, Canelo, 11. I think Golovkin still won that round. It was a close round. And then the 12th round, Canelo took that one. All right? So I think Canelo mostly took the earlier rounds of that fight. And then in the middle of the fight, Golovkin started coming on. Started doing a couple things. And I think to the end of the fight, Canelo stepped up his gear again. So you can tell Canelo was taking a break in the middle rounds of the fight. Okay. So I had it 8-4, I think whatever that judge's name was, the lady, Bird, Adelaide Bird, I think I had a scorecard something like her. I saw it exactly how she saw it. Now, of course, there were rounds that were probably people could say swing rounds. So you could have given those rounds to Golovkin, but he still wouldn't have won the fight, in my opinion. And they still gave it a draw. That's the official scorecard. So it doesn't really matter what my opinion of the fight is. Here's a draw. That's the law. That's official. That's what it really is. That's fact. Doesn't change. Nothing else changes. It doesn't matter how much I say I thought Canelo won the fight. It doesn't really matter. The fact is, what is written in stone is a draw. And that's what that'll go down in history as, whether we like it or not. Uncle Robert says, no way did Triple G lose to Canelo at the first fight. That one judge should have a license revoked. I don't think so. Again, I have a different opinion to you. Him in that regard. I think Adelaide Bird actually saw it the way I saw it. And not just me, just for you guys to know, Jeff Mayweather scored it the same way. Jeff Mayweather thought the same thing I thought, that Canelo beat him. Not just Jeff Mayweather, I think Floyd Mayweather Sr., who's the guy that said he was a boxing lesson? I think it was Anthony Joshua. Was it Anthony Joshua? Somebody like that. Who else? A couple of other people. I think people so high up on Triple G. They were so high, like I said, the overhype of Triple G. And they wanted to see Canelo get his ass knocked out. That they actually, were biased towards Triple G winning the fight. What did Triple G land? Oh, he landed a bunch of jabs. Triple G landed a bunch of jabs. Really? Like seriously? When did he snap back Canelo's head with a jab? Oh, those touch jabs he was landing, yeah, because Canelo wanted him to land those to set him up for counters. You know, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, you live to learn. So Canelo did the rematch, and remember Canelo was on the back foot, Triple G was on the front foot all the time, and for some reason, people are not scoring Canelo's staccato beats. You know, Canelo would throw 3-4 punch combinations and land almost every shot on Triple G, and yet at the same time, people saying he's not doing enough. You know, most of the time he's just circling the ring, and he's not doing enough. I'm like, what are you talking about? He pushed Triple G back when he needed to, and he just decided to fight off the back foot, off the ring, off the ropes. You know, but because he's fighting off the ropes, Triple G looks like the aggressor. Even though he's missing a whole bunch of punches, people are giving Triple G the round because he was aggressive. That's simple. But if you know your fucking boxing, you will know Triple G didn't win that fight. Canelo was disappointed at the end of the fight. He was stroking his beard like, can't believe this shit. A draw. I just did it. I just gave this guy a boxing lesson. At the end of the fight, he put up his hands and was jumping up and down saying, easy work. This guy too fucking slow for me. You know? It's weird because it's like strange to hear people say, you know, Triple G. And you know another guy? Troy Killer. Check out Troy Killer Entertainment. That was easy work, man. The second fight, he decided, okay, y'all want to see me fight like a Mexican? I'm going to dog walk this fool. And he walked him down. He just walked him down, never gave up ground. He beat the shit out of him. He dog walked him. They had to give him the decision. You know, Canelo be listening to people. People say, oh, the judges give Canelo decisions and stuff. Canelo said, oh, yeah, really? Okay, I'm going to knock every motherfucker out from here on in. And he started stopping fools. y'all didn't realize? Canelo be listening to y'all. Canelo be like, oh, I fight old guys. Okay, Callum Smith, you the biggest, baddest dude? All right, let's go. Billy Joe Saunders, you next. Ninja. Y'all talking about he fight all these old dudes. And Billy Joe Saunders was a big critic of Canelo. Broke his eye orbital. Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. The dude's the real dude. Y'all don't give him his props. Yes, I'm not going to disagree with you. Should have faced, he should have faced Demetrius Andrade. I'm not going to say no. Yeah, in a way, he ducked him. In a way. It's not really because you can't say he ducked Demetrius Andrade and then went and faced Sergio Kovalev. Come on now. You can't really say that. But here's where you can get him. He said Demetrius Andrade is a boring fighter. I'm like, fuck out of here, Canelo. He's not a boring fighter, and you know that. So stop that bullshit. You know? And then he gave up. He didn't face Jamal Charlo. He got the franchise championship belt, went and faced Sergio Kovalev. Charlo was the guy he was supposed to face. You know what I mean? And it's bullshit when you know, you have to look at that and say, well, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It don't matter if Charlo would have gotten his ass beat by Canelo. It's still bullshit, right? Because I don't believe in this franchise belt. I think it's shit. I think it's bullshit. It's a shitty belt, and it fucks up the sport. You know what I mean? So, but here's the thing. If he eventually ends up facing Jamal Charlo, it'll be a better Jamal Charlo than if he faced him before. If Jamal Charlo was real green. He hadn't been tested like that. Now he's been tested pretty well. He's standing up somewhat to the test, and he's coming along. So I would love to see him against Canelo. I've always wanted to see that fight, actually. I would love to see Demetrius Andrade against Canelo. That's the guy they're pushing out the window. Nobody's really pushing Demetrius Andrade for nothing. And Demetrius Andrade, he's not pushing for nothing either. He's pushing, but he's not pushing. What I mean by that is, and that's sad because I shouldn't really say that about him. I know he's a black fighter and all that, and I'm being hard on him. But you got a dog walk push on these guys sometimes. You know, you can't just wait for media day. You got to be on their ass 24/7. You got to prank call them and all kinds of shit. You got to agitate, like Muhammad Ali would say. How he got the Sonny Liston fight? He agitated Sonny Liston. He literally get on that guy's nerves. And if you look at, he didn't get the fight, but Klitschko and let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. He was all up in Klitschko's grill, man. He was all up on him. And maybe he gets the fight in sometime in the future. Maybe Klitschko and him do an exhibition. Shannon Briggs. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get up in that grill, and you just gotta. He went after Deontay Wilder too. That's what makes boxing interesting too. You decide you're going after this dude, and you just all up in that grill. You might get your ass beat when you get what you want, but the point is, it's entertaining to do that. And that's parts of boxing that are very entertaining that we don't really see that much anymore. We see it sometimes in British boxing, but not so much anymore. Guys used to, I mean, they used to stalk each other. Be coming after you, man. I'm gonna get you in the ring. uh, you know what I mean? Boxing's a wonderful sport, man. Boxing's a wonderful sport. Right Eye says I thought the draw was fair, to be honest. Uh, I mean, different people have different opinions, but it depends on how you actually watch the fight and actually watch what's going on. Because, Caleb Plant said this, and it's true. A lot of times people watch at things that are not real, and the stuff that's really happening in the ring, like the body shots and the body punches, sometimes you don't actually see it. Right, I said Steve Rolls. Right, yeah. Steve Rolls, that was the dude. Right, I says Golovkin will fight Murata in Japan in NYE. I don't know what that means. What does NYE mean? Murata, that should be a good fight. That'll be a good fight. Murata's a style that Golovkin can handle. Murata's strong though. He's strong. But yeah, that's a good fight for him. What weight are you competing at? Me at 154. Even though I'm 180 something pounds right now. Red Eye says Canelo beat him at his own game in the second fight. It was beautiful. And he beat the fuck out of that dude. But Triple G's a tough motherfucker. I'll give him that. He's tough. And he likes to fight. Red Eye says he stayed in the pocket and picked him off sheer counterpunching effective aggression on the inside. But dude, I'm glad you said that. I did a number of videos on that. How he picked him apart. Fucking neutralized the jab. It was beautiful. I told you, Canelo's one of those guys that neutralizes jabs. They take your jab away from you. Right Eye, New Year's Eve. Okay, cool. All right, well, Triple G's fighting a decent guy. Murata's okay, dude. Maybe he gets the stoppage too. Maybe he looks good too, doing it. Who knows? But he been taking a lot of punishment lately. He's been trying to work on his defense, but he's been taking a lot of punishment lately. You know what I mean? Man, dude, I'm glad you like boxing like that, bro. But I just advise people that I'm not trying to toot my horn or shit like that. I just like what is known in boxing, like in the boxing community, in the boxing world, is not the same thing like what the fans think about it. You know what I mean? The fans, not all fans. There are a lot of educated fans out there, but generally the fans think of boxing a certain kind of way. But in the world of boxing and people who actually box, it's not the way how people think of it. You know? And so some of the channels I look at is Coach Eric Bradley. I look at Master Boxing, which is Coach Eric Bradley's channel. I also look at Coach Anthony's channel. Those of you check out Coach Anthony's dope guy, Tevin Farmer trainer, etc. And then you have my boy, like I said, Troy Killertainment. I also look at Uncle Robert. He gives you the basics in boxing. It's really good and fun to watch him teach the stuff. He really teaches it in a very simple way so you can understand. I also look at Precise Striking. That's another boxer. He's from Canada. Gives you nice little tips on things on how to approach certain challenges in boxing. And he can take you from, knowing nothing about the sport, to actually, being competent in competing in the sport. So it's really good. Those are the kinds of things that's the Teddy Atlas one, right? No. Teddy Atlas has his own channel. Teddy Atlas talks about boxing. He doesn't really teach boxing. His channel comments on fights and stuff. But I'm telling you about guys that actually teach boxing. Like they talk about boxing, they share boxing. There's another one which is World Class Boxing. You should check that out as well. The guy who trained Roy Jones Jr. to face Mike Tyson, he's the guy that with Paul Spadafora actually be on that channel. Um, that shows you again different skills, techniques, and and tricks to boxing. See, because boxing's not as it's not as straightforward as you think, right? It's thinking man's sport, and you know a lot of people say that, but there's like tricks in boxing. There's a lot of tricks in boxing, and something that people don't talk a lot about in boxing is feinting. There's a lot of different kinds of feints, and they're used for different things. And but you have to know the fundamentals first before you can actually feint, right? Because if you can't throw a punch, then how can you feint throwing a punch? You have to know how to throw it, the mechanics of it, and all that stuff, and the angles and whatever. So you know, it's one thing to it's one thing to talk boxing. It's another thing to actually do it. And that's why I encourage a lot of people, and that's why I have my channel here actually, what you need. It's to encourage people to actually get in the gym or get a bag or something home and start doing exercise. It's very rigorous training. I mean, but you really feel really good, and then you start to eat healthy. If you eat healthy and so on, it really helps your health. For me, it did wonders for me. I have acid reflux disease, and it really helped me a lot. I still have little problems because of some of the shit I do, but for the most part, it helped me, and um, I'm 46, right? So it helped me a lot. I haven't cut my hair and everything, but and I'm still a little bit bloated in different places. I ate a lot since the COVID. I'm not really able to move around as much as I want to, but yeah. So basically, um, these guys, the channels I just told you about, there's a bunch of other channels you can go and check out in my subscription thing. You can see all the channels there. But those channels are what made me fall in love with boxing. It's Barry Robinson breaking down Million Styles Boxing. That's way back. That's like 2010 or 11 or something. He had that. He's also a coach and a trainer for MMA and boxing. And he's the guy that actually started breaking down boxers like Floyd Mayweather and boxers like Sugar Ray Robinson, boxers like Sugar Ray Leonard. There was another channel, also a British channel. It was called uh, I forgot his name right now. That channel, he would break down fights as well, and just I started to see how nuanced boxing was, and how at the highest level, particularly, you make one mistake and that's it. I think of a perfect example of a fighter who made a mistake and it was it for him. Tony Harrison versus Jamel Charlo, the second fight, and you have to look to see what was the mistake that Tony Harrison did in that fight. And when you see the mistake, you yourself will be like, "Come on, Tony, are you serious, bro?" It's a fundamental mistake he made, and that's what really cost him the fight. He was doing okay. I mean, he got dropped the first time and early, but he was doing okay. He was coming back. On the scorecards, he was putting the heat on Jamal, and he decided to get really brave, and um, he got really brave, and uh, he paid for it. Because you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. And do you know what that is? You don't hook with a fucking hooker, man. You just don't do it. They trade hooks, and Jamel's hook was better. And he didn't even hook, and then he didn't hook and dip. If you hook and dip, or you rock this way and you hook, right? So you rock downwards and you hook, right? If you do that, that's better. If you hook a dude, he can't counter you because your head's down, right? You know, then you hooked up top, and he got it. He took it right there. What was the British one? You said you couldn't remember the guy. Oh man, this dude is really cool. His channel's not really active anymore. At a certain point, he was trying to get money for his channel. Winston, he was really good. I can't remember. Winston something. He's really good. Yeah, there were some good channels on here. Some of them have disappeared. Uh, some of them are still around. But I like boxing channels where you can learn something. So I do still keep abreast of the news and what people think about sports. So but I really like channels where people actually um, they actually you can learn something from the channel. So I actually watch those channels a lot more. There's a number of British channels on here, man. I actually just go into actually uh, Winston Wilson Kaiden Wilson. That's the guy. Kaiden Wilson. Check out his channel. Right? You can still Kaiden Wilson. KYDENWILSON. Kaiden Wilson. Really good channel. Also, there's another UK channel. Actually, I have a couple of UK channels actually. There's Moreno Boxing. That's a UK channel. And then there's what was the channel? Got the guy's name. Some of the channels they're a little bit boring in the sense that how they teach, but the fundamentals that they're teaching you is important. And so that's why I said when you're learning the fundamentals of boxing, those things are real things. They're not opinionated things. You know, it's good though. I spent an hour, 47 minutes, 29 seconds talking boxing with you guys. I'm gonna catch you guys later. I'm what you need. You know my channel. A lot of you guys. Hey, by the way, thanks for the donation. One of my subscribers donated some money to me recently. That's good. Thank you so very much. For those of you who don't know, you can donate via Western Union MoneyGram to my channel. I don't have any online way of collecting donations. I don't have a PayPal, and I had a PayPal, but I don't have one now. And also, I don't have the whatever it is online thing that of the country. I'm in Trinidad, so I don't really have access to that. However, you can donate by Western Union MoneyGram donations. I've been happy. Was a friend of mine, Tommy Temper from the UK. He had donated some money a while back, and that's really cool. So if you like what you see, if you like the channel, don't forget that. As to Red Eye, I want you to come on my channel. We chop it up. I didn't know I would catch you today. And also, I want to go to your channel, chop it up with you guys. But I've had a previous history with other channels where people have been less than courteous with me. And so as a result of that, I don't just go to other people's channels just like that. I'll let you come to my channel. I'm not going to be discourteous to you like that. I don't kick people off my channels and all that kind of stuff, kind of weird stuff people do. So you can chop it up with me, and then after that, I wouldn't have a problem going to your channel also and mixing it up with the people on there as well. But the channel here, I have kind of been on the moment spontaneous with information and stuff and all of that, but we'll uh, we'll organize something, put it together. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I got other things I got to do with my day, but I hope you guys have a blessed one. Red Eye says we ain't disrespectful, mate. We the same as you. We love the sport. We have a common interest, and we love boxing. Yeah, well, some people are disrespectful. They put you on there. They try to make a fool out of you or whatever they try to do. And when you're responding, in the middle of your response, they can just kick you off the channel. Literally, people have done that to me. So some of it was because I brought it upon myself. I remember with boxing beats and rhymes. But other than that, uh, been kicked off some channels just because people thought they get clout by kicking you off the channel, and I thought it was weird, you know. But I'm my dude EJ Boxing Live. You probably know about EJ Boxing Live. You know about EJ Boxing Live? He's on YouTube. You have EJ Boxing Live, Boxing Beats and Rhymes. Those are from the UK as well. Um, what else we got from the UK? I'm trying to remember. But yeah, so some people feel they get clout by kicking you off their channel, uh, and so um, some people have done that to me when I went on as their guest, and that's insecure people. We ain't insecure. I'll be happy to come on yours, no problem. Then you can come on ours, mate. Oh, sounds good. Sounds good, man. So we talk some boxing, man. Oh, I don't know if you know Carcino as well. Carcino was a channel I used to rock with a little bit. He likes Felix Trinidad. So I've been on a number of different channels. EJ Boxing Live, I've been on his channel as well. I haven't been back on his channel in a while. He also runs streams like 5 hours. Five-hour streams. I remember being on a 5 hour stream. It was really good. Sometimes he don't regulate his channel well enough, so people actually are admins on his channel. They just could kick people off. So once I got kicked off of his channel, even it's weird, isn't it? I got kicked off of his channel, and I was like, "What the hell?" But I was EJ got me back on, and so on. But yeah, I've also been on. These people are really cool as well. What are they called? Pound for Pound Boxing Report. It's not well known. The host is Michael. What's it? Michael Wilson, I think it is. Michael Wilson, and he's decent. They're very professional. So it's actually official people in boxing. He had recruited me at a certain time, so I've always had a good experience with him as well. So you have different people who are professional with what they do, and there's other people who are not. Have you heard of Imran Mir from the UK? Imran Mir TV? No, I haven't. Is that your channel? Is that your TV? Never heard of it. Sounds interesting. So yeah, that's basically it. Oh, I've been on Coach Anthony's channel and Eric Bradley's channel as well, by the way. And these are again professional people, so they treat you with courtesy and stuff. Never been kicked off with them. But I think it's some of the things I say are so counterintuitive to what a fan would think about something like that. So it's like when I told people, people talk, sometimes some guys say, you know, no, that's not my channel. He's a good mate of mine who has a good channel called Imran Mir. I think I do know Imran Mir TV. He gives his opinions on fights. He gives his opinions on fights. I think yes, I think I know. I think I know that channel. Actually, now let's stop and think about it. If I think I know that channel. Yeah, yep. I think I know that channel. Yeah, I think I know the guy. Yeah, he tries to give a impartial view. He's kind of coming from a. He's not super in depth about boxing, but yeah, yeah. I know that channel. I think I'm subscribed to it. I think he's got a Facebook group also called Boxing Fans. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. That's good. Boxing fans. Wait a minute. Boxing fans. Wait a minute. It's him. I'm in Boxing Fans, which is the same group I think you're in. It's Imran? No? Okay, okay. Okay. There's two. Okay, okay. All right. Well, he's a cool dude. I know him. I've never been on his channel or anything, but I've seen him break down one, me, and you in, and there's another one. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay, okay. Yeah, I know of boxing fans that you and I are in, but I didn't know there was another one. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically it for now. Uh, Tommy Temper is a guy that I know I know him pretty good. There's some other guys, and they actually have like Google Hangouts where there's a lot of people who actually talk boxing in the Hangouts as well. So there's all of that. But I'm keeping the YouTube channel going here. This actually started off as a health channel and then became a boxing channel. So Um, that's basically what I have. So hopefully we vibe. Maybe tomorrow, if around, I don't know what time it is now, but around the time something like this, maybe you and I can have the stream, and then next week Friday we could have the meeting with the group, I guess the Facebook group or whatever group it is, and that would be cool. Cause all I just talk is boxing. I'm not really. I love it. I love the sport. Um, Not for the violence per se, but just the dedication and the application one has to have, what it takes to really do it. So I really like it, and it's not a team sport. Thankfully, I don't really. Team sports are cool, but I prefer to have everything on my shoulders than just, you know, um, having to depend on somebody and then they fail me or whatever. So yeah, that's what I got. I'll catch you guys later. Watching these out. Um, you can like, share, subscribe, and donate by Western Union MoneyGram. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. All right, Right Eye.